Let's take a look at this problem. The given function is 1 to 1. Find our inverse. That f to the negative 1 power is what it looks like. That's the inverse. So let me get my tablet here. There we go. And we got f of x is equal to 5x minus 4 over 7. Well, let's review the steps for finding the inverse. So finding the inverse of a function. First off, put a note here. The function must be 1 to 1, or it doesn't have an inverse. Step 1. Replace f of x with y. Step 2. Interchange x and y. Swap them. Step 3. Solve for y, and that's deliberately vague. A lot of different techniques you use at that point. Step 4. Replace y with your inverse notation. Step 5. If necessary, use the graph to make the inverse 1 to 1. Okay, so let's look at this problem. Step 1. Replace f of x with y. So this becomes y is equal to 5x minus 4 over 7. Step 2. Interchange x and y. Swap them. Where the y is, you put an x, and where the x is, you put a y. Step 3 is to solve for y. In this case, this is everything's linear, and this is really going to follow our steps for solving a formula for a variable. You might be sitting there looking at it, well, that's not a formula. But remember, the very basic definition I gave you in class of a formula is you got an equation and you got 2 or more different variables. Okay, first step, get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. Multiply everything by the LCM of all your denominators. We only have one denominator, so that is our LCM. So multiply both sides by 7. So 7 times x and 7 times 5y minus 4 over 7. These 7's going to cancel. And we got 5y minus 4 left there, and 7 times x is 7x. Now our next step is to get everything with the variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side. We're solving for y, so I'm going to take this negative 4 and move it over. Remember, when you take anything over across the equals, the sign changes, so negative 4 becomes a positive 4. Now our next step in solving a formula for a variable, we don't have to do. It says if you have, if necessary, factor out the variable you're solving for. Remember, you'll have 2 or more of those variables. We don't have that. Then our last step is to divide both sides by what's in front of / back of the variable you're solving for. Solving for y, there's a 5 in front of it. So we're going to divide everything by 5. So I got 7x plus 4 over 5 is equal to 5y over 5. And those 5's cancel. And we get y is equal to 7x plus 4 over 5. Now step 4 is to put our inverse notation in. Replace y with your inverse notation. So the inverse of f is equal to 7x plus 4 over 5. Now we don't have to do step 5, because it says if necessary, use a graph to make the inverse 1 to 1. This is already 1 to 1. And remember, our indicators, whether it's 1 to 1 or not, is if you got x to an even power, if you have y to an even power, if you have absolute value of y, absolute value of x, if you have a plus or minus. We don't have any of that. So this is This is our answer.